Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Magnolia Shine podcast. This time we got an exclusive interview here on the show. Joining me is the head coach of the West Point Green Wave, Brett Morgan. And Coach Morgan is with us here today. Coach, we appreciate you.
Man, thank you. Thank you so much for having us on. Thank you for covering our program and our guys.
Definitely, and you guys have been worth covering for sure. You started off 3-0 on this season. This is your second season at the helm for the Green Wave. You started off nicely winning a championship, but you listen, you picked up a great program from a great coach that was there 18 years, winning over 200 games. Kind of explain how you got the job and kind of the pressure that you had the first year, and you've been able to thrive on this pressure.
Well, I came to West Point in 2009. Started off as a wide receivers coach, special teams coach. I had a really good friend of mine that played college football. Casey Welch was already over here, and so Casey kind of got me in, and Cham hired me, and work my way up, and me and Casey became co-coordinators together. Been in the offensive coordinator role from I guess 15 to 23 for Cham. This is I think January will be my 18th, starting 18 years at West Point. And that's really our staff. It's a great staff, people that have turned down really a lot of opportunities to go and to leave and maybe get a bigger title or get a little bit more money, but we've all turned it down to stay together. It's a special place. West Point's a special place. The people here and the players, and then the coaching staff and the camaraderie and the loyalty we have make it a special place.
And you guys have made it work. And the area that you guys are in is known as the Golden Triangle. Of course, as you obviously are very familiar with. And listen, some great teams, great football programs are in that region of the state. And you guys play within that region to begin the season every year with your non-conference. Talk about that and just that tough non-conference schedule and how that helps your team throughout the season.
Well, it all looks good, before the season and in the season and after the season. But right now, when you're in the middle of it, you kind of like, what were you thinking? But it makes us better. It gets us ready. I think that the rest of the GTA would agree. You look at Louisville, Starkville, Knoxville, Tupelo. I put them in the GTA as well. I know they're
Yeah.
not, but they're in our junior high league. It's just really good football, and that's our first four opponents. And so it's iron sharpens iron. A lot of respect for those programs. I think if it's not the best football in an area, in Mississippi, it's right there with anybody else's. You look at the amount of state championships, and state championships aren't the end all be all, but the proof's in the pudding when you look at the results that those teams have had. And it definitely prepares us, whether we win them or whether we lose them. It's showing us what we can do. It's showing us what we can't do. It's showing us what we need to work on, what we need to get better at. And so we feel like coming out of it, if you can survive it, get your kids to overcome the adversity that comes with it, which we've learned to do at West Point, and it's going to make you better for your district play and for your playoff runs.
In that area, you guys are all at different classifications and all this stuff, but they're still really good games. You start off this year, you play Louisville. It comes down to the finish, a low-scoring ball game. And so, just from a person in the media watching that, it's like, okay, wow, we see a defensive battle, low scoring game. So when you go and play Starkville, it's like, hey, the big question is like, are you guys going to be able to score with a team that put up 57 points in week one? Well, then you guys go and beat them 48-15. And so that to us is like, oh my goodness, that is crazy. Talk about the week by week matchups, because then you play Knoxville, you beat them, and it's a high scoring matchup as well. Listen, you guys are winning in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, they say in rivalry games you just throw the records out the window, and
Yeah,
every golden triangle game is a rivalry game. It's really like you're playing playoffs. Every week, it's a playoff atmosphere, and it's just survive in advance. And so you just you throw those scores out even and then early seasons, you're going to learn the most about your football team from week 1 to week 2. Yeah, we play a spring game and a jamboree, but you don't know what you got till you go down to Louisville, Mississippi, and step off the bus and tee it up, and because they're, we're finna get after each other at a different level than you can really replicate. And then the same way with Starville. And then you go through those two, and then you got Noxubee. And we've come through Noxubee. Now we're thankful we have a bye week, a get better week is what we call it. And then we're getting ready for Tupelo next week. So, it's definitely, the grind of it. And, those scores, a lot of times it's easy to compare scores and you say, well, they're a defensive team, or well, they can score, but they're, it's so dictated on matchups, team matchups, how well the
yeah.
teams know each other, the familiarity with each other, your line of scrimmage matchups, your secondary matching up with your DBs. So it's so much that goes into that. And so that's why, you have to be careful about just, looking at scores and judging the book just by its cover.
Yeah, Tupelo's up next for you guys, and obviously that's a big challenge. I mean that they're the defending 7A state champions, haven't lost a game in a long time, and they look as good as ever right now. Preview that game for us a little bit.
Well, and we're not fully into Tupelo mode. We're kind of
Yeah,
in this week. We're trying to get better and fix, stuff we've messed up on the previous 3 weeks. Where can we get better and improve on? And we're also getting a jump start on Tupelo. But uh, I mean, Tupelo is the most talented team in Mississippi. They've been the most talented team in Mississippi probably the last 3 or 4 years. Their junior highs are incredible. Their coaching staff is doing a great job of coaching them up, and I mean they're loaded top to bottom. And so it's a great challenge for us. It's going to be an exciting week next week, and we're looking forward to it. But right now we're kind of put our mind where our feet are, focus where we can get better, and focus on ourselves, because in the big scheme of things, if we're going to be able to achieve our goals this year, it's all going to come down to how we perform.
and listen, I know that that's a big reason why you guys win is just that focus on your team and focusing on tightening up what you've got going on as a team. But I know that you notice things on the outside, things like Brookhaven down south. In your classification 5A, they've got a great start to the season, and you know that they're looking at you guys. How do you keep your guys focused on what's in front of you, because you would not see them until the end of the season if you end up seeing them. But just you guys are the defending champs. I know that you're focused on what you guys have in front of you.
Yeah, yeah, and Brookhaven does. They beat Madison last week. They've had a great start.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 5A schools that have had really good starts, and so, but again, that goes back to the score watching and to looking at hypotheticals, and we just have to put our mind where our feet are. We have to focus on what we can do, and just take it one day at a time, to see how we can, get better. I know this. I know a state championship football team is a team that gets better every single day throughout the year, and a team that gets better no matter who they play. They come to work and they get better and improve every single week, whether they win or lose. And so we try to do that, and that's the standard that we want to operate at. Is it hard as a coach or as a player not to look around, pick your head up, and look and say, well, so and so's doing this, so and so's doing that, and so's ranked this, so and so beat so and so? It is. That's human nature, right? But what we want to do, what I hope we do, and I think our coaches do a good job of just focusing day to day on being at a championship standard, working to get a little bit better each and every day, and then I mean, who knows how those playoffs are going to shake loose? You know, we're going to. It's a long way between here and there, and so we just have to take it as it comes. Make sure we're the very best football team we can be today, and then tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the rest will work itself out.
And coach, take me back to the spring when you're operating a program at a championship standard. You come off a state championship. How do you get your spring practices started? How did you prepare this team for this season starting in the spring?
We get after it. We are physical. A lot of people in spring are, uh, they well, they're not. I don't know how to say it. I don't want to downplay anybody, but a lot of people are not very physical in the spring. They
Yep.
hold kids out, they hold guys out, and I understand that side of it. But that's not the West Point way. We get after it. We're going to go. Our spring practices are very physical. There's a lot of one-on-ones, ones versus ones reps, good on good. We really every day is full speed tackle to the ground, and we are really just that's the only way you get better at football. And so when you're restarting a year over in the spring, you got kids that are coming back that you feel good about, what they've done, but you're always replacing people. So you've got to put those kids in the fire the best you can and see, can they play? And that's the only way that I know and that we know how to do that is play full speed, tackle to the ground football, and be very physical and practice that way. And I think that leads also to our edge and kind of where we're different. We if we're going to play our brand of football, we've got to be a little bit tougher. We've got to be a little bit more hard headed. We've got to be a little bit more throwback than other people because our brand it's a hard nose, it's a physical brand, and if we're gonna rely on that to win, then you can't just turn that on a Friday night and go do it. You got to be about it, year round.
And does that like get the chemistry good for your team as well? Because just going ahead and starting off playing physically, it seems like that would help your team bond early on. Just by going ahead and getting that out of the way, going ahead and hitting each other a little bit and getting that out of the way, and then going ahead and bonding as a team. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it is, and it's all we know. And you talked about the golden triangle, and that's really all the Golden Triangle knows, is starting off in junior high and starting, I know the coaches in the Golden Triangle have a similar mindset of that, but yes, it bonds your team and it grows a what your identity is going to be, and and if you don't, if your team or your players are not up to that, then they learn what they got to do to get up to that standard.
And tell me this, Coach. I've talked to a lot of different coaches, and I know that a lot of you have a mission that's beyond just coaching the sport. It's also leading these young men in a way, and these guys are the this is the next generation. They're going to move into being husbands, fathers, and all that. Talk about that, and talk about your leadership role of these young men.
Yeah, well, mine is Christ, and I'm
That's
not
great.
perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Anything good in me comes from Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. We are very open with that in our program. We have
That's great
devotions.
to hear.
And we have a strong FCA. Our athletic director, our superintendents, our principal. West Point High School makes a stand for Christ, and this football program. We're no angels. We're not any candy stripers, and we don't. We know we're not perfect, but Jesus didn't. He didn't call the perfect. He lived a perfect life for us, so we could have a relationship with Him. We could have a relationship with God, and it changes a man on the inside out when you become a believer and a follower of Christ. And so that's big in our program. And I appreciate you asking the question.
Coach Morgan, is a blessing to be able to speak with you right here on the Magnolia Shine podcast, and good luck to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having us on. Thank you, and for covering our team.
Absolutely. And folks, please be sure to hit the subscribe button, like, and share the Magnolia Shine podcast. We out.